from pole position in this one, alongside Stephen Ellery, who took his first ever win in the championship in race 2. Mark Scaife and Craig Lowndes, the Red Barons on road 2, Larkham and Longhurst on road 3, and Bowen Crompton on the 4th row.
Keep in mind those top 6 positions are determined for Heat 3 on aggregate as a result of results from Heat 1 and 2, if you're having trouble figuring that out at home. You see it on the right-hand side of the Shell Helix scoreboard too. Those yellow boxes determine where they qualify and where they finished in race 2, so you can get a good idea of how these cars have fared during the day.
Row 9 is Jason Bargwana alongside Thomas Mazira. 10, Brad Jones and Greg Murphy. 11, Steve Reed and Trevor Ashby. Paul Morris beside Stephen Johnson on the 12th row.
Paul Romano and Rodney Forbes start out of row 13. Derek Van Zelman, Mike Emery out of 14. Dougal McDougall and Rod Nash alongside there. And Stephen Richards, after that collision in Heat 2, they fixed that car. He will make the start, but out of 31st position. A lot of work to do for the Kmart driver. Incredible
performance from the Kmart team. They got it ready within seconds of pit lane closing. Larry Perkins is a non-starter in this one. The diff housing bent so badly after that altercation with Stephen at the start of race 2.
If you look at them, they're lined up. You see Radicic and behind Scaife, they're over to our television left a bit because the oil that was dropped from the differential of Perkins' car.
Green flag being waved, just about set to go in the final race of the day, round 12 of the Shell Championship Series. Away. Good start by Radicic. Ellery equal to the cause. Both the Red Barons jump out nicely. We go further back and it's the Caltex Hamilton machine of Tony Longhurst, but Larkham's got the better on him as they work towards turn 1 for the first time.
It's going to be interesting. Radicic, yes.
Beautiful run by Radicic up the inside. Stephen Ellery decides to go with him. They'll go side by side on a Shell Mastercard turn. Up toward the kick for the first time. 2 Holden Racing Team Commodores in between the 2 Fords. There's Mark Larkham in there in the Mitre 10 machine. Big field shuffling through Eastern Nats turn. Hopefully they can get through cleanly as they charge up the back straight for the first time.
Nick Donoher muscling his way up there in the Ultra-Tune TDK Commodore. It's an idea of the points for you. After race 2 today, Paul Radicic on top on 72. Look how close things are between Lowndes, Scaife and Ellery. Tony Longhurst back there on 56 points with Mark Larkham. It's going to be a very interesting conclusion to this round. Can Radicic win the round? And how will it affect the championship between Tanda?
Oh, look at this.
Look at this. Bargwana busts his way through. Ingle comes through as well. Sideways.
Great shot there. Low down level. You can see all the action as they came through XR Falcon corner. Fortunately, John Faulkner gathered it up and got back into the battle as we complete 1 lap.
Make their way onto the front straight on this occasion. We should also welcome to the commentary box Jason Bright joining us for this one. Jason, a frantic start.
Yeah, it is. You know, as usual, the V8 Supercars really turning it on.
Now you got the drive up at the Honda Indy 300. It's going to be fantastic having an Australian represented there. There's Mike Emery's car in trouble early in the race. You've had limited time. Your first drive of a champ car. How do you think you're going to go up on the streets of surface?
It's obviously going to be a big weekend for me, and you know we're not going in there expecting too much. We just want to love to finish the race, and if we can get a good result, it'll be all the more happier.
Encouraging for you when you look at your teammate, if you like, for the FAI 1000, Paul Radicic. I know the driver positions with that team have yet to be finalised for the big one, but encouraging performance from the team as you head up there.
Yeah, it seems every time I turn up at a V8 Supercar race, the Shell car's out in front. I turned up at Eastern Creek, and Paul turned it on there, and he's turning on again today.
So Paul Radicic in command. The Shell 18 Ford, Garth Tander back there in 6th position, fighting hard to stay in this championship. He went right to the back of the grid in Heat 2 after an incident with Russell Ingall. And there he is right back in the thick of the battle. Car 34, the Valvoline Cummins Commodore. And the Ford fans have had plenty to cheer about. Look at them waving those blue ovals. There's Paul Radicic and Stephen Ellery. They've got a major battle here with the Holden Racing Team Commodores. Let's look down the straight and see where the cars are located. John Bowe just sneaking up the inside of Tony Longhurst. Big field getting strung out on pit straight there. Stephen Johnson fighting his way back through.
Radicic was 0.3 of a second quicker than everybody else that time round.
Talk about, Mark, the Blue Oval fans having plenty to cheer about. 7 Fords in the top 10 at the moment. Let's take a look at the Shell Helix replay. Jason, talk us through this one.
Yeah, obviously they're all using plenty of the grass there on the inside, and I think it looks like John just got a little bit unsettled by driving over the grass on the inside of the corner.
Another angle.
Another angle.
Ooh, contact.
Well, it looks like, yeah, he also got touched on the front there by the colour scan car. So he probably made his matters worse by running through the inside there.
So Stephen Ellery once again in that position we've seen him in all day, with Mark Skaife filling up his mirrors, breathing heavily on the car. I've got to say, the quality of the racing amongst these leading cars today has been absolutely fantastic. Very, very close, door handle to door handle, bumper to bumper stuff. And everyone managing to come through the races. Great performance from Stephen Ellery. Could well stand on the podium this afternoon. It'll be an extraordinary performance.
Well, he won the second race of the day, Mark. We should bear in mind that the last time Ford won all 3 races on the day, because the Rat won the first one here today, was in fact Eastern Creek in 1997, when Glenn Seaton won all 3 of those races. There is Mark Skaife and his Munro driver profile. Our Shell Championship Series leader at the moment. We've been working overtime here with the different calculations, Mark, as far as what can happen with the championship, given Mark's position at the moment and Garth Tander, who is currently in 6th position in this final race.
Yeah, well, after 2 heats today, Tander's only dropped 14 points on Skaife, so it hasn't been as disastrous as it may have looked outside. So Tander still hanging on by his fingernails, fighting hard, but he's up in that top 10, Jason, and you know how close the competition is in V8 supercars. Very, very difficult to overtake when you're up at that top level.
It really is. I mean, you just have to be, you know, because everybody's getting on the power at the same point in the corner. If you're behind that car in front, you know, you've got to get a really good run out of that corner to be able to, you know, make any impression and try and pass him at the end of the straight.
For all the latest information, v8supercar.com.au, that is the official V8 Supercar website. Lots of hot gossip and links to all the teams. Another link there is to the Channel 10 website, for your latest program information, and of course you can check out the RPM site while you're there as well.
Paul Radicic has set the fastest lap this race, lap 3, a 1:12.68. Still a long way away from the V8 lap record of 1:11.63 set by Lowndes last year. But the cars are on a different specification tyre this year. It's made quite a difference to some of these cars at some of the tracks they've been to. And Lowndes there sitting in 4th position. The order at the moment, Radicic leading, Ellery still in 2nd. Mark Skaife and Craig Lowndes stuck together. Look at the Mitre 10 Ford of Mark Larkin. Great performance with Garth Tander in behind him. Neil Crompton in 7th. He's had a good consistent run in the 2nd FTR car. Paul Wheel, Craig Baird and John Bowe rounding out the top 10 at the moment.
Just looks as if Stephen Ellery just a fraction slower than Skaife, and Lowndes are behind. I think if Skaife got past, then he might have a go at Radicic.
Larkham's right there with them as well in the Mitre 10 Ford. He sits in 5th position. They work very hard, the team, in between race 2 and race 3. Oh, that's problems there for Paul Romano. That does not look good.
They have had terrible luck, this team, haven't they? Not just this year, but a number of years. Problems there as he tries to limp it back to the pits.
Looks like a suspension failure of some sort. The back end seems to have collapsed there. Larkham, as we were talking about, has been struggling, he felt, a little bit for power down grip today, so the team have made a bit of a change between race 2 and race 3, and it seems to have paid dividends. Here is the stop-go penalty. No, for Paul Morris.
We just heard a message from the pits. Apparently Paul Romano's radioed into the garage and said, "I've got to park it, this thing's just too old."
Oh dear.
Well, he stalls it coming away from the stop-go. Gets the big raspberry from the fans.
Fans are getting excited.
So's Big Kev.
He's stalled it again.
Fired.
Something must be wrong there with that car.
Oh, there he goes.
Going now.
He gets back into the action. Meanwhile, we're back with Mark Larkin, applying plenty of heat to the back of the Holden Racing Team duo here. Rod Nash in trouble in the Auto Pro Commodore. Gets back onto the racing line. That's just coming out of Eastern Nat's turn. So he's managed to survive. Here's the battle for the lead, though. It's been on since the start. Paul Radicic opening it up 1.5 seconds the gap now over the Super Cheap Autos car. And look at this train forming behind him.
The man at the tail of the train too, Garth Tander. He's managed to rope in Larkham, and he's staying right in touch with this battle going on. All the while, Radicic has managed to pull clear. Here's the Shell Helix replay. Anthony Tratt there, and in the background there, Jason, Rod Nash.
Yeah, it looks like it's just the middle of the corner there's caught him out. I'm not sure whether he had a problem or not, but it just seemed to swap ends on him really quickly.
I know a V8 supercar is about as far removed from an Indy Lights Open and Wheeler as you could possibly get, Jason, but were the years spent in V8 supercar racing to you valuable in terms of learning setup, learning racecraft, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, you've really, every time I go out in a race car, whether, you know, it doesn't matter what kind of car it is, I try and learn something, and, you know, the couple of years in V8 Supercars, you know, it's all still learning and all learning about close racing, if nothing else. But you know, there's still a lot of things that apply to the setup in a V8 Supercar that apply to any open wheeler.
Obviously, a champ car's a very different machine, but you think years of having raced on the Gold Coast will help you next weekend?
Yeah, obviously, you know, I know my way around the track there. I had success there in Formula Ford, and you know, it's going to be a little bit different going down the straights twice as quick, but you know, it still will be an advantage, you know, that I have driven around there.
Well, he flew the flag for Ford in Australia. Now he's going to fly the Australian flag on the streets of Surfers Paradise next weekend. Jason Bright competing for Australia in the Honda Indy 300. Make sure you tune into that one. Meanwhile, we've got a great battle here. Paul Radisich has opened it up 2 seconds now, the gap over Stephen Ellery, who's got all those cars locked in behind him. It's been a strong, consistent performance so far from the Super Cheap Autos too. And
the Rat, not surprisingly, is still the quickest man on the circuit. He is ahead of Stephen Ellery, Scaife and Lowndes. Second or third and fourth there, Larkham and Tander, 5th and 6th, and it's Compton and Paul Wheel in 8th position.
Well, there's been over 35,000 fans in at Sandown International over the last 3 days, and haven't the Ford teams turned it on here. It's been a disastrous year so far. They've had a sniff of the lead, they've won a few heats, but never actually won a championship round, and they're staring right down the barrel of that at the moment, particularly thanks to this man, Paul Radisich. He is streeting him. He's opened it up 2.9 seconds, almost 3 seconds the gap now over his closest pursuers. And that must be a good sign going up to Mount Panorama, Jason. Those DJR cars look like they've got an enormous amount of horsepower.
Yeah, well, they certainly pulled out the form last year, and you know, they probably should have won that one. So it's, you know, I'm very privileged to be jumping in one of those seats heading up there this year.
By the looks of it, old Scaife is going to have a big lunge at Ellery in a minute, I think.
Yeah. Running out of... flashing his lights at him, so Ellery's... I guess Scaife feels Ellery perhaps holding him up.
Well, if these guys finish where they are, just keeping our eye on this tense championship battle, there'll be a 209-point difference between Mark Scaife and Garth Tander going into the FAI 1000, so the championship will still be alive. We're going to have a race within a race up there as we had last year, so it should be an absolute thriller on Mount Panorama in November.
Tan has done a good job, and he comes away from the back there.
Just despite that altercation with Russell Inglewood being sent to the rear of the grid, he's maintained his focus and just kept on the job. He's fallen back a bit there off the back of Larkham, which is a surprise. He was right on the tail of him there a lap or two before.
Now we hear that car 2, Mark Scaife's car, has been warned by the officials for excessive curb hopping. So they're going to be keeping an eye on that. If he continues doing that, that's worth a stop-go penalty. So I want to rein that sort of in. That sort of driving in could be very, very costly to his championship campaign.
6 Fords in the top 10. And no doubt that would be a big delight for Ford boss Jeff Politis, who will be hoping this weekend to finally break the drought and win their first round in a long, long time.
Good performance from Neil Crompton, the sole representative for Ford Tickford Racing today. It's been a good afternoon for a lot of these Ford teams. And look at Paul Wheel sitting in behind him in the K&J thermal machine. So Crompton, Ford Livet in-car camera, working hard here. 7th position he is.
When you think of where Paul Wheel qualified, he's done an amazing job, hasn't he? Right?
Oh, fantastic. And that's a brand new car, Baz. They've been coming to terms with it, and they've struggled a little bit when they went out for their first practice session. But Keyswell and the boys really very quickly were straight onto it, and Paul feels now that it's really starting to come on strong. This car, he said, it feels much better and so much different to the old one.
5 laps remaining for our race leader, Paul Radisich, who is storming away at the front. 3.3 seconds the gap now. He's got the fastest lap of the race. He's brought it down again in 1:12.58 for car 18. He set that on lap 8. So he is absolutely flying in the Shell car this afternoon.
Should say a very good afternoon as well to Louise Baird, who is in hospital in Queensland. Craig and Louise became parents during the week, and we should say welcome to the world, little Brianna. Hope you like motor racing. You're in for plenty of it.
That's just about guaranteed.
There's eight Fords in the top 12. That's not bad going, is it?
Craig Baird in 10th at the moment. John Bow behind him. Tony Longhurst. Everywhere you look, there's Fords. And at the moment, they're at the pointy end of the field, and they haven't been there for a long, long time. John Bow, hard at work in the Caterpillar Racing Falcon. Be Clear and Simple in-car camera takes you for a ride as he tries to find a way past Craig Baird. And we'll go to the Be Clear and Simple onboard telemetry as well. If you keep an eye at this road speed on the left-hand side, it's quite exceptional. Speeds in excess of 260 kilometres an hour around Sandown. Going to talk us around a lap, Jason.
Follow your old car, Joe.
Not used to seeing it from this angle, but obviously you get up to top gear on the start-finish straight here, back to third for turn one. Probably one of the better corners on this track. Sort of able to open her up on the exit. Back to second again for this little chicane here. Great fun through here over both curbs. Onto the back straight here. You really concentrate on just getting a really good exit because it's such a long way up this uphill back straight. Really just sitting in there trying to get a good run up the back straight. Over the top here, back to fifth, maybe fourth, down through the S's. Really high speed, using all the curbs, pulling it up for this really tight left-hander at XR8 corner. Back up along this straight, you get up back into fourth or fifth, I think. Down to second for the last two corners, little squirt, and back onto the start-finish straight again.
Jason Bright, the 1998 FAI 1000 winner, talks you around a lap of Sandown International. He's done plenty of those. 3 laps remaining for our race leader, Paul Radisich. 3.3 seconds the gap, so it's stabilised now between himself and Stephen Ellery. Looks like he has plenty in hand too.
Great performance from Ellery so far this weekend. He's really resisted the pressure incredibly well. We've always said what an underrated driver he was, but he has certainly proved himself once again here this weekend. He did it with this bloke last year at Mount Panorama when he teamed up with Paul Radisich. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be their day. But Ellery has broken through for his first race win today. Can Radisich break through for his first round victory?
What an outstanding performance by the 37-year-old Kiwi international, originally from Hastings, New Zealand. 2 times Touring Car World Cup champion, 2 times the winner of the New Zealand Grand Prix as well. Don't forget he's driven for Ford and Peugeot as a factory driver. He's a guy with a tremendous performance pedigree and overwhelming will to win. And he's been pushing this team hard to give him the equipment to do the job. Well, they've done it here this afternoon. This is the dominant force in V8 supercar racing at Sandown.
2 laps remaining in this one. And no doubt our viewers through TV1 in New Zealand are on their feet in living rooms right the way around Kiwi country at the moment. A nervous Dick Johnson. Can the Rat bring it home? Certainly looks good at the moment.
This will be the first win for Ford since our commentator here this afternoon, Jason Bright. Last one at Hidden Valley in 1999. It's been a long drought. 19 wins straight for the VT Commodore. It's been a very, very tough couple of seasons for the Ford teams. And this will also be the first win for Dick Johnson Racing since John Bowe took victory at Winton in 1998. So how long are the droughts for some of these Ford teams? Maybe this is a sign of a comeback at last.
Perhaps this is an ominous sign of what's to come at Bathurst too, Mark. They had incredible speed up there last year in those DJR Fords. Well and truly on the pace here at Sandown this afternoon.
So Stephen Ellery doing a great job here. He's had Mark Scaife applying the blowtorch to him all day. And Puff, one little slip in that first heat, he's managed to sustain the pressure without a slip-up. This drive will really put this man on the map. 1 lap remaining, 1.1 kilometres. And the Ford flags are flying high at Sandown this afternoon. They can sniff victory. Just as he heads toward that victory, Jason Bright, we'd like to thank you for joining us in commentary at Sandown this afternoon. And really, I think I speak on behalf of all Australian race fans who wish you all the best on the streets of Surfers Paradise.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Russell Ingall all over the back of Paul Wheel now. And this is what's happening up in front. Radisich raises his hand and says thanks to Rod Nash, who's led him through. He is on course to bring the number 18 Shell Helix Falcon home and take the round win. He flashes the lights at the fans. He's on course to do that.
Absolute euphoria, you can imagine. The hard work at DJR, Warren Robb beavering away in the engine department. Dean Orr, he took over as team manager a couple of years ago. It's been a tough couple of seasons for DJR. This is the sweetest taste of all, victory. The champagne on the podium, Shell Championship Series.
Ford fans rejoice because the drought is over, and so the drought is over for Dick Johnson Racing. Paul Radisich takes out the round here at Sandown. Well done. He took out race 1 and the final race of the day. There's Dick Johnson, elated, and about time, he says.
That was fantastic.
And the Rat's done it too. That is his first round victory in the Shell Championship Series. An awesome day for Stephen Ellery. And Mark Scaife coming in behind him there in 3rd position, putting more valuable points in the bank, Barry, for the championship.
Yeah, Ellery's very, very popular. You know, there wasn't one of the guys who didn't go up and give him a pat on the back, and I think that's really nice, really well deserved. Rat did well, didn't he?
Certainly did.
Great drive.
Johnson has been so successful over the years in the car, and now on the sidelines these days, very much the team owner, and now enjoying success in that role. Well done to Dean Orr and Warren Robb and all the boys. They've done an outstanding job, and Radicic today, he was pumped up from the moment we arrived here at the track today.
You'd certainly have to be a brave man not to put your money on a Ford for Bathurst, wouldn't you, really?
It was so quick, that car here today. Much needed confidence boost for that team. Up until today, Radicic had enjoyed a couple of race wins, one of them at Eastern Creek, another at Calder Park. Now he's taken another 2 race victories today and the round win. 6 Fords in the top 10. So Jeff Pilates and the team at Ford will be delighted with that one, and so will the Ford fans right around Australia. Well, for a variety of reasons, it's been a big afternoon here at Sandown International Raceway. Rodney Ford involved in a big spin there in race 3 after that altercation, I guess, with Paul Morris. The man of the moment, though, Paul Radicic, victorious. A well-deserved effort for both him and for Ford, breaking through for the Rats' first round victory. There he is on top after the 3rd race. Stephen Ellery coming home 2nd in the final one of the day. Mark Scaife, more valuable points in 3rd, and a couple of other movers for you as well. Gee, a good performance from Paul Wheel, finishing 9th in that brand new car, and Craig Baird after what's been a disastrous year in 10th position. Let's go to Mark Osler on the podium.
Well, after 19 rounds and total domination by Holden at the Shell Championship Series, the drought has finally been broken. Ford has broken through for its first Shell Championship Series win. Fantastic atmosphere at Sandown here this afternoon. The man who wanted to wrap up the championship but didn't quite do it here this afternoon. Put your hands together for Mark Scaife. Scaife, I think there's a few Ford fans down there, mate. We don't hear that too often.
Well, the blue oval had to get up at some stage, didn't it? I mean, we knew the whole time, but I mean, congratulations to Paul and to Steve. They did a fantastic job, and don't you worry, the red cars will be back, don't you worry.
I'm sure they will. Mark Scaife in 3rd position. The championship going out of the wire at the FII 1000. In 2nd place today, this man deserves a major cheer. After his 40th start, it's his first victory, his best result ever. Put your hands together for Stephen Ellery. An amazing moment, isn't it? I mean, these Ford fans are just bursting out of their skin. It's been a long wait.
Oh, this is unbelievable. It'll be a long time since Ford have had a 1-2, but, you know, I've got to thank my whole team, Super Cheap Auto, Castrol, Ford, Simon, Konica, and anybody else I've forgotten, my wife and kids at home. This is a great moment. I did this for everybody, and they all deserve it, so thank you. And go Ford!
Can you imagine when you came to Sandown that you were going to get a result like this? It's just unbelievable.
We thought we'd do all right, but something like this we didn't really didn't think we'd get, you know. A win eluded us, but, you know, maybe next time, Bathurst.
Congratulations, put your hands together, folks. Stephen Ellery, a new Ford hero at Sandown Park. Right now, I'd like to call on Ross Brodie, Motorsport Manager for Shell, the wonderful sponsor of this series. Put your hands together. It's the first win for the Rat, Paul Radicic. I think you've got a little bit of a support there, Paul. It's been a long, hard grind, but that was a very dominant victory. It looked very impressive.
Thanks, Mark. It's you're right. It's been a long time coming, and you know, all effort for the DJR team who've built this new car, and it really is evolution. It's going very well, and it's coming right at the right end of the season. But you can see by I think these people have been in hiding, but I'm really pleased I've been able to do it.
I think they'll hold you up as the Messiah. What an extraordinary effort. And look at that horsepower. It looks like you blokes are pretty ominous for Mount Panorama.
Well, we were last year, and look what happened. So let's wait and see what happens when we actually get there.
Put your hands together, folks, and celebrate. Ford is back in the game. Paul Radicic, the winner at Sandown International.